Donald Trump apparently took a trip to Mount Vernon. He wanted to see it, maybe learn a little bit. It's a tourist attraction. Over 1 million people go every year. And we have now found the person who knew the least going in and came out knowing even less. So here's a little bit of information. Here's one issue. Donald Trump apparently told the tour guide that he should have named it after himself, saying if he was smart, he would have put his name on it. Again, we're talking about George Washington. He says, you've got to put your name on stuff or no one remembers you. And so I did a little bit of research after this because like most people, I don't know who George Washington is because he didn't put his name on stuff. And so the VIP's tour guide told the president that Washington did, after all, succeed in getting the nation's capital named after him. Good point, Trump said with a laugh.
Good point. I hadn't thought of that before, that the place that I live and govern from is named after the guy who was the first president. Not to mention, hey, anybody out there, here's the George Washington challenge. See how far you can go before you see anything with his name on it. How far can you make it? How many minutes of your life can you move without seeing his face or his name somewhere? Maybe a boulevard, maybe an avenue, maybe Washington Place.
Can I run you through a few?
Yeah, please.
Because I did a little bit of research. Turns out there's other things named after him. One state, we've only got 50 and he's got one of them. 30 counties across the country, dozens and dozens of towns and townships, cities, boroughs, villages, unincorporated communities, multiple universities stretching across our great country, forts, mountains, islands, parks, bridges, highways, circles, and streets, not to mention the countless memorials to him. There's a monument, it's a big one. It's even shaped like a penis, and Donald Trump, a guy who was so insecure, he didn't even notice that one. He lives in the city named after this man, and he's worried that some dumb people who don't understand history might not know about this great American because he didn't name enough stuff after himself. And yes, I get that he didn't name the vast majority of those things, but I don't think we have to worry about his place in history.
If only he named it after him. I mean, Donald Trump is obsessed with money. Reach in your wallet.
Yeah.
You might find him. You just might find him there too.
Yeah, you might see it there too. And you just scared me without, if somehow he makes it on a bill, I have to move. I can't, not that I carry paper money around, I will not have his face on a piece of paper in my pocket.
Well, we know the one thing he's not gonna worry about naming anything after himself is after he leaves the office is, presidents get a library. He doesn't care about that at all.
No. Maybe graphic novels or something. So a little bit more from his trip. The president's disinterest in Washington made it tough for tour guide Bradburn to sustain Trump's interest during a 45-minute tour of the property, which he later described to associates as, quote, truly bizarre. The Macrons, so he was there with the leadership of France, has told several people we're far more knowledgeable about the history of the property than the president. Which, look, on the one hand, not surprising. On the other hand, I don't even know if that's really a diss against Donald Trump. I have heard that most people outside of the US know more about our history, so I guess I'm not that surprised.
No, that's true.
Also, if you're gonna go to a place like Mount Vernon, don't you look it up a little bit? Don't you wanna know a little bit going in so that you can go to particular things or ask particular questions?
He's proud of not knowing things. This is a calling card of many folks in this conservative part of our country now, is what you say is, I can't believe you know all that. You stuck up, scholarly garbage. So anybody who actually knows what's going on, they get talked down on. And also, I think you may get to it, Trump is proud of the fact he hasn't read anything historically and doesn't plan on doing it anytime as soon as like, I don't know anything.
Presidential biographies, yeah.
Yeah, and I have no plans of finding out or learning anything anytime in the future because that's not important to me.
Exactly, yeah, if you were president, I mean, wouldn't you want to talk to other, like even if you don't agree with them on the policy, you would want to get in their head. There are very, very few people that have served as president. Historically, far fewer of them are still alive. Wouldn't you want to learn about them to do the job a little bit better? No. Even if not for the best interest of the country, just for your own personal best interest, just pragmatically for yourself. I mean, you know that your approval rating is low. You crave adoration in the public. Wouldn't you want to do better? Wouldn't you want to increase the odds that you'd be remembered well? He's worried about whether Washington will be remembered. Like, do you want to flash forward 50 years and think a little bit about what will be said about Donald Trump, assuming we're still talking about him at that point? All of his dumb towers will have crumbled at that point, and we will be looking back on his presidency. Maybe his son will still be in prison, I don't know at that point. And we will be looking back and laughing about the dumbest stage of America. And also possibly the dumbest stage of American capitalism, which will be exemplified in this next quote. Trump asked whether Washington was, quote, really rich. The guide said that is what Trump was really the most excited about. So first of all, out of everything having to do with George Washington, the good and the bad, you're worried about whether he was really rich. Also, you don't know that he was really rich. Dude was really, really rich. How could you possibly not know that?
He owned humans.
He owned humans and he owned a lot of territory. He owned so much real estate. How does he not know that even? There are lots of presidents that I couldn't tell you. I couldn't rub two facts about them together. But you should know a little bit about George Washington if no one else, and he doesn't. On Mount Vernon in particular, this is just sort of embarrassing. So if Trump was impressed with Washington's real estate instincts, he was less taken by Mount Vernon himself. The rooms, Trump said, were too small, the staircases too narrow, and even spotted some unevenness in the floorboards, according to 4 sources briefed on his comments. He could have built the place better, he said, and for less money.
He's gotta be joking at this point. Like, he's gotta be joking.
I don't know. I think God is joking. If God exists, God is laughing at the situation we're in. He has no idea how expensive. It was made hundreds of years ago. They had slightly different standards.
He goes, I can't believe there was no elevator installed in this place. What was going on? Hey, how come the Maserati's not parked out front?
And by the way, when you imagine, like, forget Trump. Just imagine any president, a president you like, going to a place with the historical significance of a place like Mount Vernon and walking through the halls, the rooms that a past president, one of the most notable Americans in history, dwelled in. And then you think about the weight of history settling on the shoulders of the president who has to continue that legacy. And you just want one moment that is of a level with how significant, the gravitas of the situation. And we have one moment, it's sort of a sick, dark mirror version of it, but he goes into Washington's bedroom, the bed that Washington slept in and died in. He puts his hand on the banister, not the banister, but the little knob on the edge of the bed, and he says, "A good bed to die in."
Great, beautiful, the most beautiful bed to die in. Big beautiful bed. Come on, man. There's got to be joking.
We live in the dumbest time.
No, it doesn't matter because there's.
You know what? A good time to die in.
His entire life.
Don't try to be substantive right now. There's no substance left in the world. Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.